Hello, and welcome to Tots Tactics. That tune rage quit was pretty easy. This guy didn't even shot 29% possession. Pretty tragic play, but anyway, let's quickly talk about these two goals. So it did take till the second half for the two goals, but we got them. Here we just, this guy was also playing a 5-back, by the way. But his players like moved up. Here we just went down the line because we had the space. Just baited him. Basically pass it across pretty easy. Now this is something you want to be doing a lot in this formation. You got to use the widths. Like here it's Neymar who's the extra center mid on get forward. But a lot of times it will be the right wing back or left wing back being quite influential here with the Neymar as right center mid get forward. Just got a little extra space that isn't tracked by anybody. And you can literally just throw it across. Bang, goal. Thank you very much. And then here is an example of using the extra man. Yeah, I think he switched back now into a fullback because he started losing the game. And against a fullback, you will have that space out wide. The extra runner. Let's do a little ball roll scoop just to send his Maldini. Pretty easy. Just pass it inside to Neymar. Little first on fake shot and near post finish. Pretty simple. But once again, it all comes from the right wing back. Being over here, available to take that ball to then drag out your opponent's left back with your right wing back, pass into your right center mid who's get forward. So, you'll notice both goals are basically Neymar goals. Because his run into box is so influential. As you can see, is from here, Messias is ahead of him, right? But what happens with center mids on FIFA is they don't really track back runs, right? So when you have center mids on get forward, they just rush past the opposing center mid and don't track him at all. So once again, as you see, he just keeps running, whereas Matthias just kind of stops. As a result, you get Neymar here with a load of space because the center back isn't really pulling him up either. Ronaldo's just chilling on the goal line for some reason, but that doesn't matter because Neymar can just bang it in post. Easy as you like, and I don't even have to talk about how the 5-3-2 is defensively. The stats show it. You guys know the story with that. I'm not even going to waste any time. And now, of course, into tags themselves. So, I run most of these custom tags, but anyways, let me just get into 5-3-2. It's pretty much the same as you guys seen time and time again, but, I know a lot of people are coming back, you might have missed it, blah, 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 so we're going through them in this video. So bounce, 5-8, 8 for the auto offside trap. 7 million times, it's just the best way to play. If you notice your opponent's teams keep offside and trap you on the edge of the box and you can't pass it around, you keep getting choked, this is why. And that works even better with a 5-back. Just how it is. Now, offensively, just keep everything balanced. You don't want any more than 5 width or the wing backs literally go too far wide. And that is all good. This is how I line up in game if you're wondering. So, it depends. Basically, you want to have your worst defensive fullback at wingback. So for me, Davies has really good defense. Much better than Quadrado. So Quadrado is the wingback and Davies is the center back. Then at the other wingback, you want to have an attacker that just has maybe a better defense, so Atal luckily has that, and Nedved is not a good option, but you could just play somebody with no defense if you wanted to. In midfield, you got Vieira, so I like to have a stay back center mid, just in the middle, so this can be like a Kante, or wherever, anybody good defensively. Last center mid, I have a box to box, so in this case it's Renato, so once again, you could have that freeze Firmino. You could even have Europa League, Renato Sanchez, you should have a Bruno Fernandes there. You have a lot of options. Right center mid, you want to go ahead and have another attacker, because there, as you'll see, down get forward, and then obviously your strikers up top. So, we have getting behind on strikers there, pretty straightforward, right? Here's where the instructions get a little complicated. Side of Neymar, get forward, cover center, get in the box across, so he really just pushes up loads, as you've seen in the clips, but that's so instrumental in scoring goals. That's really key. On the left, you have Renato Sanchez, bounce, cover center, and we're balanced, stay back. Well, stay back over center side. So, you know, pretty defensive from him. But yeah, so like they kind of stagnate. So you got Vieira furthest back, you got Rannerz slightly a bit more forward, and you got Neymar almost acting as like a right cam sort of position. Then wingbacks, you just have joined the attack. Pretty self-explanatory. You obviously want them making those runs. I have mixed now. I used to have inverted. I have mixed because sometimes it is better if they do the overlapping run instead of the inverted run. Mixed, let's stay. I decide for you. So you know, they tend to get it right. So that's pretty good. I mean, one of the best things about the 5G2 is holding leads with it. So what I'm also going to go through is the like defensive 5-3-2, and so this is if you're probably up like 2-3 goals, you want to see out the game. You know, you don't want to be as aggressive going forward, because the 5-3-2 that I do use is pretty balanced. Like, it does score a lot of goals considering it is a 5-back, but this is kind of how you should set up if you're already like winning considerably. You know, you're chilling. You just don't need players going forward really as much anymore, and you just want to cement the win. This is what I recommend doing. So defensively and like tactics wise, they're basically the same. You're still running the 8 depth in my opinion, because the offside is just really good defensively. But if you don't feel confident in that, or you're not a big fan of it, you can drop down to 4. However, I do stick with the 8. I just feel that the outside trap thing is just too important. And then attacking, for the tactics anyways, it's pretty much the same. You can lower the players in box, but I don't think it's that big a deal. Anyways, we'll go over to instructions. Now, first key difference you'll see, your strikers on and get in mind. Now, the main reason for that is there is no cam in this formation. And realistically, if you're using this while winning, you're getting pressed. So, you want to go ahead and have them on mixed. This means they'll drop a little bit, and they'll be very easy to pass to, so you won't be under pressure, because if they're using a press and they aren't getting behind, there's probably going to be a defender stuck right on them, and it's going to be really hard to pass them. Then into the midfield, the only real difference here is Neymar is just on balance instead of get forward. The reason I put them all on like stay back is, once again, with the press you do need somebody to pass to, and even if you had like Neymar on stay back, you know, he's not really got much of a defensive presence, and I assume most of you guys would have an attacker here. If you did opt for using a midfielder here instead of Neymar, then you could just put them all stay back while attacking if you wanted to. Once again, personal preference. And then fullbacks, you definitely want to change those to stay back while attacking, so that they don't make runs anymore, and literally you can't get counterattack because you have the 5 at the back. Plus you'll have your center mid and stay back, so you'll just have so many people back that you can't get countered, while still having, you know, a few passing options to go forward with the press, and so that you don't get caught out, basically. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Those practice videos coming out rapidly over Team this season, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true.